I have always been fascinated with volunteer work. When I was in first grade, I remember my cousin told me about a field trip that second graders and third graders would take to a mobile home property close to our school. And they would go and sing Christmas carols. And so in first grade, I was really excited about the field trip because it was getting me out of the classroom. When I got to second grade, I went on the field trip and we sang songs like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty the Snowman. And the audience was mostly older people, and I just really liked that I was able to put a smile on their face, even though our singing wasn't all that great. So today I would like to encourage you guys to volunteer during your spare time. I will be going over 6 functions of volunteerism and a few ways you can volunteer. Volunteering is a selfless act. It helps bring out the nurturing side in some people. According to the authors of the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, there are 6 functions of volunteerism. The first one that they mention is values. This is the concern of the well-being of others. An example would be when I was 15, I lived in Moreno Valley, and there was nothing for me to do as a 15-year-old because I didn't drive. Anywhere that I wanted to go, I'd have to get a ride. So I volunteered at my church, and we went to a retirement home, and we did Christmas carols again, and it was nice to see them be happy, and after we were done singing, we sat down and we talked to most of them. So that was me trying to help someone else out by making them a little bit happier. Volunteering can broaden your knowledge. The second function of volunteerism is understanding. This function is mostly applied to young adults that want to learn a new skill. It also develops experience. An example would be me when I was in 6th grade. I went to my little brother's summer school teacher and decided to help her out. I didn't want my little brother to be retained, so I went and helped out his class so I could learn how to help him at home. And so during that time I learned how to help him learn the math problems and how to read. The third function of volunteerism is career. This form is volunteering for your benefit. So if you have a career where you can go and do hands-on, this would be a way to do it. And it also looks really good on your resume. An example would be, I want to be a teacher, so I go to schools and help out kindergarten teachers teach their class. I've learned how to deal with the troublemakers and how to be able to respond to the cues that they give when they don't understand something. Whenever you gather your friends, wouldn't you want to know that you are having fun and doing something positive? So the next function of volunteerism is social. It is to fit in, or to, if you have like a family that's been donating to an organization, you might be more prone to go and volunteer there. A great way to feel accomplished is through volunteering. So the fifth function of volunteerism is protective. This can be from your economic status. You might feel guilty, so you go and you volunteer. Also, if you're like having problems and you just want to get away from your problems and go help somebody else in their problems, that's a good way to volunteer. Volunteering is an act of kindness that can last for years. So the last function of volunteerism is esteem. So this is just boosting up your self-esteem. It can be anything pretty much that you feel like you've helped, so you feel better about yourself. After going over the functions of volunteerism, I would like to point out a few ways you can volunteer. So donating blood is a really easy way to like volunteer like what you have to give to others. It saves lives, and it works really well if you're not afraid of blood or needles. You can also donate platelets and bone marrow if you're willing. During the holidays, there's a lot of churches or shelters that you can go to volunteer to hand out food, or you can hand out toys to little kids. And the best way to find out like where you can go is through Google. Google really has a lot of information, so yeah. The Boys and Girls Club. That's a really good way to volunteer. It provides a positive environment to develop youth's self-esteem, skills, leadership, values, and citizenship. So you can volunteer there, but it requires a little bit more time. And if you live in Orange County, there's the easiest way to volunteer is just to go to your local library and teach kids how to read, and it's already a skill that you have. So it's not anything that you have to learn, but you can teach. So that's a way to volunteer. And the problem with the lack of volunteers is that they don't have time. So I've heard the phrase time is money, and time is money, but if you consider the benefits that you're gaining from volunteering, then there's no money that you can get or pay to receive the benefits. Volunteering can be done over the extra couple of weeks we have during semesters. So I encourage you all to go out and volunteer.
Mary, share your thoughts, please.
I really like the topic of volunteering. I think it's something that everyone should consider doing. You had a really good intro, a good attention to the story of your brother and all that, and school. You had a lot of topics. I think it was like 6 that they each had a good point, but I think you could have expanded on them a little bit more detail, a little bit more. I didn't hear any like statistics or any quotes or anything like that. It was really well organized, and you played with your note cards and the rubber band a lot. And other than that, I think it was okay. And you said a lot, but I think that's the only thing we have. Other than that, it was really good.
All right. I think the personal experiences about volunteering are a good attention device. You need to get through them a little bit quicker, and then you kind of come back to the same things in a couple of other spots. And I can see that you were engaged, but you need to be able to generalize it a little bit more, and that's where I think you could use more information about the need for volunteers, about the number of people who volunteer, about opportunities where volunteering is not being fulfilled, to show that a bigger need exists. It's not really a controversial subject. It's more, like I said, inspirational or motivational in nature. Although I think if you showed, for instance, that people sometimes resist volunteering because they think they don't have enough time, or that that their services aren't needed, maybe there's some controversy on those particular points, and you could develop that a little bit more. You cite the one organization that gives you the structure for the speech, but that was the last time I heard anything being cited as research in the presentation, and basically everything else is a paraphrase of what these folks were talking about. And so I think that you needed to develop each of those points with something more than just the personal examples. Personal examples are good, but they are, like I said, I think they leave the speech a little bit more limited. I think that those examples do add some motivational appeals and give us an emotional component to the speech that's helpful. The delivery issues, I was looking at the rubber band thing too. From the very beginning, it was reaching out and drawing attention to itself. So that's just a nervous habit that's going on there. You want to be careful about that. Your pacing is not always consistent. It's not just the ums and the ers, but sometimes there are pauses that feel like you were just uncertain as to what the next spot is. They weren't always long, but they were sometimes noticeable, and that's something that you want to avoid. Like I said, I think you're dependent on more hypothetical examples than you want, and I think you need to find some additional research to go along with the content. We appreciate your speech. Thank you.